Since Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out in just a couple of months, should you get this game on the Switch 1 or the Switch 2? Now that's been one of the biggest topics for the last couple of months, ever since this game was even announced. I was low-key convinced this game was going to be a Switch 2 exclusive, but I am so glad it's going to be on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. So for those of you wondering, yes, you can play this on your Switch 1 or the OG Switch, whatever you want to call it, and then the Switch 2 is also going to have its own version. I want to help you guys decide if you have a Switch 2 or you're planning on getting a Switch 2 and you're wondering if you should get the Switch 2 version or play it on your original Switch. This is the perfect video. Okay, so obviously there is a difference between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 version, but thankfully, thank you Game Freak, thank you Nintendo, the only difference is going to be performance. There's going to be no exclusive gameplay, no exclusive Pokemon, nothing else exclusive about the Legends ZA version on the Switch 1 compared to the Switch 2. So it's going to be the exact same game. Basically, the biggest difference is going to be performance. So if you want to be able to play this game at a higher frame rate, which I believe is going to be 60 FPS, and it's going to be 1080p on the LCD screen on the Switch 2, and if you put it on the TV, on the dock, and you have like 4K TV that's capable of running 4K, you can play up to 4K with a TV via the dock, which is awesome. I also feel like there's going to be some sort of mouse mode with the Legends ZA Switch 2 version, because you know how the Switch 2 Joy-Cons have like the mouse. I swear they're going to do something like that, but I'm not like 100% certain on that. That's just kind of like my theory here. And then on the Switch 1, the game is going to be running at 30 FPS, which isn't terrible, you know what I'm saying? It's not terrible, but the big issue is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 1 don't really run that well. And also, I know it's not specifically called the Switch 1, but I'm making sure to specify that just so you guys know exactly what console I'm talking about. Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2 is really good. Like, it actually looks way better. It performs way smoother. It is so different. It is a night and day difference. And for that reason alone, I think is worth upgrading to the Switch 2 for Pokemon Legends ZA, as well as just any other game that you want to play. So here's the thing. Legends ZA, like I just said, is going to be on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Generation 10, on the other hand, may or may not be a Switch 2 exclusive. I have a feeling it's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive because they're not going to want to hold themselves back. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to make Pokemon Generation 10 a big and really good, thoroughly built game. And if it's on the Switch 1, it's going to hold them back. But here's some more good news about the Switch 2 with Pokemon Legends ZA. They're actually releasing a Switch 2 console with Legends ZA as a downloadable game, or like already pre-installed or something like that. Unfortunately, it's not like a designed console. It's literally just the Switch 2, the black regular console with a download version of ZA. But what's good about that is it's actually going to be cheaper. So I'm assuming it's going to be the exact same price as the Mario Kart World Bundle for the Switch, which is basically $50 more than just the Switch 2 itself. So the Switch 2 itself is $450. I paid $500 for my Switch 2 with Mario Kart. But the reason why I did that is because if you were to buy a Mario Kart separately, it's $80. So I would have had to buy a Switch 2 for $450 plus another $80, you know, plus all the tax. So you're actually saving about $30. And that's exactly how I think it's going to be for the Legends ZA Switch 2 console with the download, is that it's going to be a little bit cheaper. So if you were just planning on getting a Switch 2 anyways and were planning on buying Legends ZA, I would suggest that if you want to save as much money as possible, just so it's all one big bundle. And here's the thing too. Nintendo is moving forward, you know what I'm saying? The Switch 1 is still going to be supported for some time now, but I don't know how long. The days are numbered for the Switch 1 because it's so outdated now. They're going to want to move on to the Switch 2 where they can make bigger and better games. So if you were planning on buying a Switch 2, honestly, the time is probably when Legends ZA drops, if you really care that much. Obviously, you could wait until they have more special edition Switch 2 consoles, maybe until they have like a Switch 2 OLED, a Switch 2 Pro, whatever you want to wait for, you could do that. And I got more good news, guys. Legends ZA is going to be backwards compatible, meaning if I have a Switch 2 and I buy the Switch 1 version of ZA, I can actually play that game on my Switch 2, and I could pay another $10 or so, digitally enhance the game so it runs at that Switch 2 capability, if that makes any sense. So, for example, I actually prefer the Switch 1 cover art over the Switch 2. I just think it looks cleaner, it looks more sleek, so I may actually buy the Switch 1 version and then just digitally enhance it or something like that, because it just looks better on the shelf, in all honesty. But why I'm saying this is good news is because obviously the Switch 2 is backwards compatible with the Switch 1 games, like pretty much every single game. But if you don't have a Switch 2 and you're not planning on getting one anytime soon, or you just can't right now because they are very expensive, you can still buy Pokemon Legends ZA, play it on your Switch 1. Sure, you're going to lose out on the performance upgrades and the better looking screen and everything like that, because the Switch 2 screen actually does look impressive. It's really, really good. The colors are so vibrant. It's actually a really good upgrade, and I really have enjoyed using my Switch 2 over, the last 2 months or however long it's been out. But let's say you get a Switch 2 in a year from now. You can play your Legends ZA copy of the Switch 1 and play it on your Switch 2. My personal opinion is that you don't need to buy a Switch 2 if you just want to play Legends ZA. Like, it's gonna run pretty well on the Switch 1, hopefully. Now, I don't know how exactly this game is gonna run on a Switch 1 console. I just know that Scarlet and Violet had so many bugs and so many glitches that really I don't want to deal with on the Switch 1 version, which is exactly why I'm going to be playing this game on the Switch 2. If you guys could do me a huge favor and check out my brand new gaming channel. I keep forgetting to shout this out, but it's Game Doors. It's going to be in the description down below. Also, the name is subject to change. I don't know if I love that name, but the link to it is in the description down below. My goal is at 100 subs on it, so any support over on the gaming channel is so appreciated. Now, if you have the money and if you have the means to be able to get a Switch 2 or buy a Switch 2, and you were planning on getting one anyways for some of the other Switch 2 exclusive games, like Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza, I recommend you buying one. And like I said, you could wait until they release the ZA version where you can get the digital download of the game. I think it's worth it. It's an expensive console, that's for sure, but I swear, games look so good on it. The screen is a lot bigger. It feels a lot better to hold, in my opinion. Like the Switch 1 compared to the Switch 2. I think the Switch 2 wins in every single way. But obviously the Switch 1 paved the way for the Switch 2. The Switch 2 would not exist without the Switch 1. So no shade or hate on that Switch 1. I know a lot of people are going to be getting the Switch 2 for Christmas as well. So like I said, if you have a Switch 1 and you still want to play Legends ZA on your Switch 1 until you get a Switch 2, you can still play that game on your Switch 2 whenever you end up getting a Switch 2. So it's not like you're going to be really missing out on anything either way. The only thing you're really going to be missing out on if you played on the Switch 1 is the performance. That is essentially, ultimately, the only major, big, real difference is that it's a lower frame rate, lower resolution, and the animations and stuff just may not look as good on the game. The game is not going to run as well as it is on the Switch 2, which sometimes is okay. Some people don't really care about that. It's not all that matters with the video game. I think it's still going to be a really fun game. I'm personally really hyped for it. I'm hyped for Generation 10, whatever is after Gen 10, black and white remakes or whatever. But if you ask my opinion, I really do think that this could be the last Pokemon game for the Switch 1. Only because the Switch 1 is going to be eventually outdated, you know what I'm saying? And I know Pokemon is a huge game and they wouldn't want to miss out on the potential sales, but here's the thing. I'm thankful that Nintendo and Game Freak are putting this game on the Switch 1 because they didn't have to. They literally did not have to do this. Because of the big name that Pokemon is, they could sell so many more Switch 2s if they made this a Switch 2 exclusive, because people would be like, you know what, I want to play this game really bad. I'm going to buy a Switch 2 just to play it. So for that reason alone, I'm like, okay, this is good for Game Freak. I'm really glad that they're putting it on the Switch 1. I just really hope that it doesn't have those insane performance issues and bugs and glitches that Scarlet and Violet did on the Switch 1. We have seen gameplay of the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 and everything like that. It's not the easiest thing to tell a difference of on video. It's one of those things where it's like, when you play it yourself in your own hands, you can notice a huge difference. Like when I played Scarlet and Violet for the first time on the Switch 2, immediately I was like, wow, I wish this is how I could have played Scarlet and Violet, because Scarlet and Violet were super fun games. I really enjoyed it. However, dude, I had so many issues with the game's performance that really affected my overall feeling and review of the game. So, I'm playing Legends Z on the Switch 2, which I'm going to be live streaming. So if you want to join my live streams whenever the game comes out, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Overall, I guess my opinion would be, I think it's going to be worth playing Legends ZA on the Switch 2. Obviously, if you have a Switch 2 already, then yes, 100% get the Switch 2 version, don't play it on the Switch 1. But if you were thinking about getting a Switch 2 anyways, I would say, well, might as well just buy it now, because we don't know when they're going to do any special editions. And bro, I want to get a special edition console for the Switch 2. So whenever they do inevitably release that, I'll probably sell my Switch 2 and just replace it with one of the special editions, if I like the new special edition whenever it's going to come out. And plus, I think it's good just for the future of video games in general on the Switch 2, not even just specifically for Legends ZA. I literally mean any other big Nintendo game coming out within the next 7 or 8 years until the Switch 2 lifespan is over. So let me know what you guys think. Are you going to be playing this on the Switch 1 or the Switch 2? Did this video help you guys? And if you are really watching this far in the video, comment down below hippo, the word hippo, just to confuse the people that aren't watching this far in the video. And also guys, I have a really big announcement to tell you guys. So I'm doing a giveaway with Nintendo, the other PokeTuber, for 2 $25 Nintendo eShop gift cards. So to enter to win, go to our Discord server, which is in the link down below. Subscribe to both of our channels, Nintendo and my channel, Fundora's. And then within our Discord server, there's a little chat where you can send a screenshot, of subscribing to us. That way we can enter you into the giveaway, and that we know that we have a good, easy way to contact you. Because if you're gonna win, you have to have a good way for us to contact you. So that's why it's in the Discord server. The giveaway is gonna end when I reach 30K and when Nintendo reaches 20K subscribers. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys stay tuned for the next video tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.